happening. So, Anand, fill us in what's happening, but also just maybe give our listeners just a quick sort of noddy's guide to what this is all about, because everybody thinks they know what the Northern Ireland Protocol row is, but we get quite confused.
Okay, so Boris Johnson signed up to this protocol deal with the European Union, and as you say, it's a deal to prevent the
Northern Ireland Protocol row is, but we get quite confused.
Okay, so Boris Johnson...
Speak about what's happening. So when you pop up, I always think, what's happening? So, Anand, fill us in what's happening, but also just maybe give our listeners just a quick sort of noddy's guide to what this is all about, because everybody thinks they know what the Northern Ireland Protocol row is, but we get quite confused.
Okay, so Boris Johnson signed up to this protocol deal with the European Union, and as you say, it's a deal to prevent the need for a border between the north and the south of Ireland. Sorry, I'm losing my voice now. But to do that, you need to have checks on some goods going from Great Britain to Northern Ireland. And the row is about the fact that the UK thinks the EU is being overzealous and the EU thinks that the UK hasn't been acting on its commitments. So the negotiations now aren't to come up with a new deal. They're simply to try and find a way to make the current deal work.
And how could that happen? What are some of the sort of options on the table?
Well, it seems that both sides have made concessions. The UK, when it comes to the border, has agreed to share real-time trading data with the EU to allow them to track what's coming more accurately. The EU, for its part, all the rumours suggest, has agreed to a green lane, so-called, so that goods that are going into Northern Ireland and which are going to stay there, so which aren't going to enter the Republic of Ireland and the rest of the single market, can travel quicker and without as many checks and as many delays as for goods that are going on for sale in the European Union market. So both sides have come closer. But looming behind that argument over the border, there's a bigger political argument, because some Brexiters in the Conservative Party and the DUP in Northern Ireland have also said they object to the politics of the deal, which means that Northern Ireland is under EU rules over which it has no say, and those rules are ultimately overseen by the European Court of Justice, which is, as they put it, a foreign court which shouldn't have a role in the United Kingdom.
And there have been some noises off about that on social media. I saw that David Jones, who's I think the deputy of the ERG, a Welsh MP, made those exact points. So let's say a deal can be done between both sides. How does Rishi Sunak try and sell this to the ERG? Is that going to be possible?
Well, we don't know. I mean, it was interesting. A report in the Times today was suggesting that there have been no contact between Number 10 and the ERG over this, which frankly amazes me. I don't know whether things have been happening informally that no one knows about, but it is absolutely crucial that the Prime Minister brings his backbenchers with us. It'll only take under 40 backbenchers to defect to lose him his majority de facto in Parliament, and those people, if they feel betrayed, can cause a lot of problems for him going forward. So it is absolutely key that he gets the ERG on side. It's also key that he tries to persuade the DUP to accept this deal, because, of course, unless they do, then the Northern Ireland executive won't be functioning, which is no good for Northern Ireland at this time.
And just explain to our listeners very quickly, why is the European, what role would the European Court of Justice have?
Well, in order to make sure there's no border between the north and south of Ireland, some EU laws apply in Northern Ireland. The ultimate legal arbiter of EU laws is the European Court of Justice. And that has to be the case as far as the EU is concerned. The question with this compromise is whether or not a fudge can be found that satisfies the EU that the court still has an ultimate right, but satisfies the ERG that this has been watered down to their satisfaction.
Well, Anna, we will let you go and get a lemsip, because it does sound like your poor voice. you strong Theresa May vibes giving a speech all those years ago. Thanks very much for your time and for that really clear explainer. That's Anand Menon, Director of UK in A Changing Europe. Anand was just explaining to us that the ERG is important, but the